So as I mentioned now, even though apparel is doing poorly, you might be surprised in terms of what people are buying nowadays. Okay, so there have been talks that with people stuck at home, work from home, studying at home, that people are not going to spend more or they would spend less, which is the contrary. So I was surprised to find out in terms of the next article here that we call this the pandemic consumer economy. Okay, so changing in the behavior as mentioned earlier in the previous discussion, from work from home, studying from home, and so forth. People tend to not necessarily stop buying, but with the same amount of money that you earn, you just shift to a different focus, buying on other stuff, that other stuff that you won't normally buy, but because of the situation, you tend to buy more. So in this case, one of the more popular items that was being mentioned here is coffee. So you're stuck at home, you tend to drink a lot more coffee. Ketchup is another condiment, and another product is Nike Air, meaning athletic shoes. So because you're stuck at home, maybe you do a lot of exercise, so it's not necessarily if it's cheap or expensive. It's the lifestyle that you're accustomed now, or the new normal, so to speak, right? So let's take a look here. Yeah, yeah. As I mentioned earlier, so the consumer has changed significantly to the point that people are buying more products that they need actually. So with the likes of more coffee, as I mentioned earlier, more ketchup because people are eating at home, and buying products such as sneakers, Nike sneakers like that. Then you have yoga pants from Lululemon, which is kind of interesting, and handbags. So meaning even though some products are considered expensive or cheap, people are still willing to pay the price, pay the amount. So as long as it needs tailor fits to their needs, right? So the key here is what business are you in? So if you know the pattern that what the customers prefer, then you can provide that service or product. Then even in this difficult time, why some businesses are doing well, or not just doing well, are gaining profits at an extensive rate, while others are doing so poorly to the point of foreclosure or filing for bankruptcy. Yeah, as mentioned, actually another thing that they mentioned here, that in terms of demand, which is kind of ironic, there's lesser demand on certain products, but other products are now being driven up in terms of based on customers preferences and change in behavior. Now, will this have an effect in the price increase? Obviously, it's just law of supply and demand. So when demand increases, prices tend to increase, and if demand decreases, prices decreases as well. So it just shifted from one product to another, which is kind of ironic. What we used to consume before, nonchalantly, is now more expensive compared to pre-pandemic, and what we used to consume now, it's now becoming more expensive.